Hey everyone and welcome back to the Latent Gamer. In today's video we're going to break down every level 90 dungeon and give you a clear understanding of how to beat them at Adventure Rank 45. This video will be the only guide you need to become a pro at farming these dungeons solo or in co-op. This is the third and final video of how to beat level 80 and 90 dungeons, so if you haven't seen the first two, you can find the links down below or at the end of this video. Before we talk about each dungeon, let's answer the question on everyone's mind. Why should I farm these extremely hard dungeons when I can already get level 5 artifacts from the easier ones? And the answer to that question is very simple. And no, it's not something as stale as you should challenge yourselves. In level 90 dungeons, level 5 artifacts are a 100% guarantee. You get them every time. Sometimes you get 2 without condensed resin, and the drop rate of the purple versions are increased, so you get less of the ones you don't want and more of the ones you do want. So instead of redoing level 80 dungeons and you don't know if you're ever going to get a level 5 drop, in level 90 dungeons you can just focus on getting all of those gold artifacts and changing out the ones that you already have for better base stats and substats. The next thing you're probably worried about is that these dungeons are very difficult, and you're 100% correct. It is better if you do these dungeons on co-op, but majority of the time, randoms in co-op are looking for someone to carry them, and this guide is hopefully here to save you from that frustration, so let's get started. The first dungeon we're going to talk about is probably one of the hardest, which is Midsummer Courtyard. You have 6 minutes to beat 7 enemies, 5 large electro slams and 2 Sissin mages. The room will also periodically add an electro buff to these monsters. Pyro excel in this dungeon and Cryo will get you killed. When fighting the slime, your first goal should be getting rid of the one with the circle underneath. This slime will continuously add an electric debuff to you, which will trigger electro charge or overload if you're not careful. The reason why this dungeon is hard or annoying is because of the 2 Sissin mages at the end. Your attacks constantly target the bugs around her, she constantly calls down the fury of heaven on you, teleport every second and activate her shields of death every 5 seconds. If you have a good keep away character like Mona, this isn't a big problem, but if not, you'll probably be running from them a lot. Because you only have 6 minutes, you have to be on the offensive a lot more than not. And even though I don't believe you don't need to be truly exceptional to beat this dungeon solo, you do need to have strong characters, a truly in-depth knowledge of the game mechanics, and a high level of focus. The Valley of Remembrance is the easiest level 90 dungeon you'll play. Here you are given 6 minutes to beat 3 Cryo Treasure Hoarders, 1 Sissin Mage and 1 Fatui Pyro Agent. You get a 75% increase in physical damage, so as long as you have good DPS, you will notice how easy this dungeon is. Just pay attention to the annoying Sissin Mage and watch out for the Pyro Agent. In the Hidden Palace of ofzou, your main goal is to beat 6 monsters, and to be honest, this dungeon is actually easier than the level 80 version. You start with 60 seconds and you're given 60 more every time you beat a monster. You start with 2 Pyro Slams and one of them will trigger a fireball if not taken out. After the slams, you will fight 2 Blazing Axe Mitachurl, and after them, you'll fight 2 Pyro Abyss Mages. One of the mage will also trigger the fireball, so I'd recommend getting rid of him first. Hydro characters excel in this dungeon because the monsters will constantly get a pyro buff, and electro will get you killed faster if you trigger overload. It's not that you can't use electric characters, you just need to remove the slime's flame, remove the pyro buff from the Mitachurls and the mage's shields before using electricity. Clearpool and Mountain Cavern is a dungeon that you need to play extremely aggressive. And the only reason you need to understand is that the longer you stay in this dungeon, the more dangerous it gets and you have a higher chance of dying. You are given 6 minutes to beat 1 Pyro, Cryo, and Hydro Mage. If you want to know which one to kill first, the question is, which one is the most annoying? The longer the Pyro Mage is alive, the more you will have a fireball chasing you. The more the Cryo Mage is alive, the more killer mist you'll have in the dungeon, and the Hydro Mage will just keep getting you wet and chase you with bubbles. I always kill the Pyro guy first and the Cryo Mage immediately after. All elements are allowed in this dungeon, but you get a 75% increase in geo damage for all you Noel, Ningguang, and Zhongli mains, so good luck. The domain of Goyon is my favorite, and it can be easy or hard depending on how you look at it. In the first phase, you fight 1 Ruin Hunter and 2 Hilichurls. The second phase just gives you 2 Cryo Mages to kill. You get bonus damage when you trigger Superconduct, which is very easy since the dungeon will periodically buff the monsters with Cryo. It's simple, take a bow character and your strongest electro character, and this will be a no-brainer. The level 88 dungeon in the Forsaken Rift is just the same as the level 79 version. You get 8 minutes to beat 8 enemies. The first wave is 3 large Cryo Slimes. After that you fight another Cryo Slime and a Cryo Abyss Mage. And after you beat them, you fight 2 more mages. Just the same as before, the Leyline Disorder will keep causing you to use more stamina until you remove the debuff. You will also occasionally have ice shards falling on top of you, so this should be a no-brainer for you guys. Taishan Mansion is the same as before. It will inflict you with pyro damage, which will tick away at your health until you remove the debuff. You get 8 minutes to beat 4 enemies here. First 2 Blazing Axe Mitachurls, then 2 Fatui Pyro agents. Any element is allowed in this dungeon, so just take your strongest team and do your worst. Thank you all for stopping by today. Don't forget to give this video a like because it really helps. Subscribe and ring that bell to always be notified. I'll see you guys in the next one.